Welcome back to the Lore Raider. Today I intend to bring the long-promised video discussing how powerful Lara Croft from Tomb Raider is. Now this may come as a surprising video topic for some. When you think about powerful characters, one doesn't usually think about Lara Croft. However, today I seek to prove that Lara Croft, among the wall-to-building level tiered characters, can hang with the best of them. I also seek to dispel pretty stupid matchups people claim Lara loses, such as against Jill Valentine from Resident Evil, in which reality, in my opinion, all 8 versions of Lara can easily handle her. For today I'll be covering a composite Lara Croft, seeing as most matches with Lara revolve around using a composite version of many timelines. As such, I can pull information from all 8 timelines to make the best general purpose guide to Lara Croft possible. I'll be covering Lara's speed, attack potency, and durability, intelligence, feats, and lastly hacks. So without further ado, let's get started. Lara Croft is very easily at the bare minimum a bullet timer, and very high into the bullet timing spectrum. She's been shown in all her appearances reacting to handguns, semi-automatic rifles, shotguns, rocket launchers, and even vehicle-mounted turrets, and oftentimes reacting to and outspeeding numerous armed opponents at the same time. While still talking about reaction speed, she was able to battle certain foes that can shoot electricity at her, and it was such a way that you could really argue a lightning speed Lara Croft if you wanted to, but I'll leave that up to you. In terms of other forms of movement, Lara was naturally masterful in moving in various fashions, such as being able to swim extremely fast and outmaneuver crocodiles as well as armed scuba divers with harpoons in the water, as well as being masterful at climbing sheer rock walls and ice cliffs, as we see prominently in the Survivor timeline. Traversing rooftops and scaffolding, such as when we see Lara in Japan, for example, and even avoiding numerous traps in quick succession like she does, for example, in the Pyramid of Atlantis and other such tombs. Although this refers to accuracy over speed, it is still worth pointing out that Lara, in almost all her timelines, is adept at numerous martial arts and the handling of numerous weapons to the point that she has a crack shot. Shooting bolts off of a metal grate or shooting small knives out of the air, this speaks to how quick her thinking is and how quick her reflexes have to be to pull this off. Lara Croft is a character who really has just impressive feats across the board, and it is very hard for me to categorize the following feats, so I'll just list and explain them. But a common theme is that, aside from a few beings who are literally gods, Lara routinely takes attacks from, and either harms or outright kills her adversaries. Two great examples of this are her 2 battles she had against the Kraken, an easily large building-sized monster, defeating Jackal and Natla, an Atlantean queen who tanked a nuclear blast in her first depiction, defeating a giant rock golem in multiple settings, managing to fight off the Chinese dragon Marco Bartoli, as well as another dragon in the comics. She is equal to both versions of Bacon Lara, as she can take attacks from herself and defeats this Lara, and is relative to the evil doppelganger Lara, who is strong enough to rip monsters into pieces by simply barreling through them. She literally kicked a human-possessed Set in the face and one-shot his ass. She punched a man through a wooden beam and punched a rival archaeologist several dozen feet into the air, as well as managing to throw a climbing axe at a helicopter so hard it exploded. She managed to push heavy stone blocks from the Pyramid of Giza that weigh 40 to 150 tons each, and she even contended with the literal embodiment of antimatter. Oh, and let's not forget she regularly kicks the shit out of dinosaurs. The point is, we could literally be here all day if I listed off every single attack potency and durability feat Lara Croft have, and I haven't even discussed the hacks some of her equipment has. It won't, by the way, be including relics she has obtained from tombs, otherwise she could literally kill characters well above her weight class. Her bow and arrow have several variants including fire arrows, explosive arrows, and poison arrows, the latter being able to kill anyone with an AoE with no difficulty. She has access to literally infinite ammunition, as it is a fact the original timeline Lara Croft does indeed have infinite ammo with her Heckler and Koch handguns, meaning she never runs out of range options. She also drank from the Fountain of Youth, which means that she can literally survive indefinitely and can recover from normally fatal wounds. And this is the same woman whose durability is high enough to tank her own point-blank explosive that damaged the Kraken and can literally blow giant holes in thick ice and blast through the armor of giant insect armors with her explosives. I really could go on, but I think I've made my point, so let's move on. Something I find to be overlooked in the versus battle discussions of the day, especially between characters at a similar power level, is discussions on intelligence. Now hopefully you haven't made it this far into the video and still think Jill Valentine, Indiana Jones, or Han Solo are beating Lara Croft, but if you do, I think a look at Lara's intelligence will be the finisher here. The easiest to talk about is Lara's mastery of bodily kinetic intelligence, which is a kind of martial intelligence or coordinating your mind and body sort of thing. Lara in all her depictions is a master level athlete, with some timelines even being Olympic level in ability, and even more impressive that nearly all versions of Lara Croft survive some catastrophic event for an elongated period of time before any proper survival training even happened. I can go on, but the point is that Lara's bodily kinetic ability is very high. But in terms of more traditional shows of intelligence, Lara has been called the Batman with guns in the fandom, and for good reason. She's able to casually outthink centuries worth of historians and archaeologists to always find whatever prize she is looking for, be it the crown of King Arthur, the city of Kittesh, or any number of hidden tombs. She is also able to do it while outsmarting and outwitting almost all of her opponents, and oftentimes these opponents are of great intelligence, ranging from her rival Chase Carter to Natla, who's literally a CEO of a giant company and a member of an extremely advanced alien race, to regularly outplaying the likes of Trinity, and even managing to defeat opponents like Set and Akhenaten, opponents who had godlike intelligence and power using her wit. She even escaped from Area 51 herself single-handedly. This is also the same Lara who outwits and overthinks genius-level intellects like Amanda Everett, who is apparently the first person in history to realize there was a one founding religion that all religions spawned from, and Lara was even able to pull off a heist on her own museum and steal all her artifacts and defeat the traps that she knew she would lay out, which is impressive. You can't just steal from Lara Croft. And it's very literally a part of the job description for her to routinely outsmart the traps ancients have set for her and solve very complex puzzles. Like any good archaeologist, she's able to pick up on hidden messages very easily and has an excellent sense of navigation and direction, as well as having an excellent survival capability even with the most primitive of equipment. She's also a great reader of people, able to understand that a group of pirates were stuck in a time loop just by speaking to them, was able to manipulate a wealthy businessman into eventually leading her to the head of Medusa, among other things. Needless to say, Lara is no Tony Stark, but she isn't someone to underestimate in terms of her intelligence. In conclusion, Lara Croft is a high bullet to lightning timer with athletic level running speed. She's a martial arts master that has a building level to high building level attack potency and durability, capable of taking out literally mythical and metaphysical monsters on the regular. She has the ability to one-shot you with poison arrows and can't be beat in a war of attrition thanks to her infinite ammunition. She has immortality thanks to the Fountain of Youth, and she can probably choke the life out of you whilst giving you a lecture for 3 hours on ancient Sumeria. In short, Lara is a beast. And of course, this is a reasonable take on Lara Croft's abilities. If you want to highball her, thanks to the nuclear tanking feat Natla had, or really hammer in that lightning feat that she has, you can really make Lara even stronger than this. I think this is a very reasonable position for Lara to be in. I want to end this video though with giving you my thoughts on many of the common battles people pit against Lara. A few of them. I've referenced quite a lot, but to many people, they think Jill Valentine could beat Lara Croft. The same Valentine who, even in her buffed RE5 form, got beat by boulder puncher Chris Redfield, and literally beat Nemesis only because she had the use of a railgun, and beat the Proto-Tyrant with a tank buster missile, neither of which is part of her standard toolkit. Valentine has 0 strength feats even approaching 40 tons and is literally threatened by zombies. Things Lara can, no joke, just punch through a wall. Yes, Lara kinda mops the floor with her. The last one I'll talk about, Lara Croft versus, any other Survivor character like Ellie from Last of Us, Indiana Jones, Nathan Drake, the lot. And if you walked away thinking any of them can beat Lara, I really don't know what to say to you. This is a woman who has feats that actually let her compete with Master Chief, of all things. Like, she's on that level. You don't put Ellie, you don't put Jill Valentine, you don't put Indiana Jones in a fight with Lara Croft. Case closed. But I hope you all enjoyed that video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos in the future. If you have any suggestions, leave them down below. But until then, stay safe out there, my friends.